So in this video, we're going to talk today about how we can use CalTopo to generate a unit boundary. We can also put our strip cruise inventory lines on the map, and then how to take that map and save it as a PDF file at a specific scale so that you can turn that in for your assignment 9 and 10 for this week and next week, forest measurements 1. The other thing we can do is take that PDF file and email it to ourselves and use that as a base map using Avenza Maps on your phone so that you can actually follow along the transect lines using your phone. So I'm just starting here. I'm out in East Multnomah County, and I just picked a random unit here. So we're going to look at the photo interpretation components of this, and we're just going to basically trace out this unit boundary. I'm going to call this a separate unit from this unit, probably realistically not, but since it has a road in it, we're just going to call that a stand boundary, but it's most likely the same sand type, but we're just going to go with it today. So using CalTopo here, you can actually measure this first, so measure an area. So I can either draw the polygon, which I can do that over here under add. So if I just add a polygon, I could actually draw the unit boundary out, and I'm just going to digitize this using left clicks on my mouse. So I'm going to left click, draw out the unit boundary best I can to capture as much of the unit as possible. It's going to get down in here into this lower creek drainage. We're just going to then kind of follow this shadow up. Here we're just going to trace along these contour lines where we think the stream would be. Looks like it here may deviate a little bit, but we'll trace this along here. And so this is going to be our overall unit. Gets to the end here, you just double left click, and then you have a polygon. So the nice thing about that is then it's saved over here, and we could edit that, and we could call that whatever unit we want. I'm gonna have to move my video here, so I'm gonna just label that as unit 1. So then it labels that unit 1. Now to figure out the acreage of that, the only way I've been able to figure this out is to measure it. So I can measure the area of that polygon. You might actually be able to find it a better way of doing this. So you have to actually just click and draw. It does seem like it wants to snap to it, which is what ArcGIS would allow us to do. What I'm going to do is just kind of do a not a terribly great job, but be fairly consistent around it, because the acreage is pretty important, but it's not critical. And if we're off by, half of an acre or something like that, not that big of a deal. And this unit, I'm going to guess it's around 10 acres. We'll see what it looks like. Maybe slightly bigger than that. Back to the end, double left click. I missed it here, so I'll double left click there, and turns out it's 11 acres in size. So 11 acres, to do a 20% strip cruise sample, we're going to need to sample a total of just over 2 acres, right? Just over 2 acres, like 2.2 acres. So ideally, you want to be perpendicular to these contour lines. So you might run an azimuth of I don't know, something like 130 degrees, 135 degrees. I would say for this lab, since you're just doing this for the first time, just getting out there, just run your transect lines north, south, or east, west in direction. So I think we could probably get one transect line in here, somewhere in the middle. You're going to need a random point to start with, but for the sake of this discussion, I'm just going to make it pretty easy and quick. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a line. So you're going to be a little bit more specific in how you're going to do this. Me, I'm just going to click on the edge here and I'm going to throw in a transect line so that I get a nice transect line in there for strip 1. We can call that strip 1. And then we're going to probably want to add another line, but we're going to need to measure. So I want to measure the distance. So I need to do that here with measure distance tool. And our distances need to be about 330 feet apart. So if we click on this guy and measure somewhere over to here, let's just test that. So that's 187. So we're probably going to be not able to get another transect line in here. And we might have to have this initial transect line needs to be somewhere over here a little bit more to be able to get our next line in there. So let's try it one more time. Let's try from there and just see what we end up with. And that's going to be pretty close. So I might just delete this one. You can just click on that, delete it, say sure. We're going to put in another transect line. I'm just going to randomly put it in here again, something like so. And then I'll measure off of that one. It's going to be close enough for government work here. So we're going to add another line. Click on the edge. We're going to run our transect line down, something like that. So those would be our 2 strip lines that we would cruise. Now we want to actually make sure that we're in the unit. So over here, you're going to be off the unit boundary. So you need to calculate the area of this. So determine what the overall distance is. Okay, so we're going to again measure distance. So we can measure the distance of this line. So we see that we have 508 feet. So 508 feet multiplied by 66. That'll give you the number of square feet in this segment, divided by 43,560 square feet to the acre. And we'll calculate how many acres is in this strip. So we need to do that for here. We need to do that for here. And we need to do that for here. And as long as that was around 2 acres, right, we're shooting for 2.2, we would be okay. If not, we would need to redesign the sample or the cruise because it's just not going to work for us. But let's say all works good. It's great. We're ready to go. So we're going to label this strip here, strip 1. And I'm going to label this one strip 2. So now we have our unit map labeled. We're ready to go. So what we want to do is we could, if you wanted to, you could send this to a Google Earth file, which is super cool. But we want to print to a PDF. And when we do this, it's going to bring us to this screen over here. So it's right now set up to print as an 8.5 by 11. And then what you can do is you can specify the scale that you're going to want to use. Me, I just click custom, and then I put in there a scale of 1 to 2400. And then it gives you the scale range here. So we're going to just select this red dot. I'm going to left click and hold, and I'm going to drag that to where my unit is in the middle of my virtual page here. So my unit's in the virtual page. Now the nice thing is we can add UTM lines if you want. So you could put in UTM coordinates. You can change all this, just play with it a little bit. You could also put in latitude and longitude. I would say keep it in your WGS84 datum because that's going to be what your your GPS on your phone is going to use. I'm going to keep the polygon lined out. I'm just going to take the defaults on the rest of this, and I'm going to say generate PDF. And when it does, what happens here is CalTopo is going to make a pretty nice map for us. We have our aerial imagery in the background, but as we scroll down here to the bottom, note it's at a scale. It's 1 inch equals 200 feet. You could also do this to just lay out your initial, your initial map if you wanted to, and then hand draw these strips on there as well. But it has all the UTM coordinates and so forth. Now, super awesome. So the next step here is I want to save this. So I'm going to select the download over here in the upper right corner. And this is just going to download. I'm going to put it to my desktop. And I'm just going to call this A9-A10 unit map or nesting map. Yeah, you can call it all of that. Get rid of that DOC at the end. Hit save. So now it's saved as a PDF file, and I'm going to just minimize this and minimize this, and then we have it up here on our desktop. So it's right here, A910 Nesting Survey PDF. And I double click on that just to load it. It'll open as our PDF file. So now I want to attach that as an attachment to an email. Let's go back to your email here, and generate new message. And we can call this just unit map. And the reason I'm going to do this is that way I can access it from my phone. So I'll type in unit map, and oh, not unit map there. I need to send it to myself. Okay, and we'll call that unit map. And I'm sure you can figure out how to attach a PDF file, but we'll browse this computer, go to the desktop. We're going to grab that layout unit map. So we're going to send that to ourselves, and then we're going to go to the App Store, and we're going to download an app called Avenza, Avenza. And in Avenza, you can upload this georeference PDF file. So you'll go to your email, click on that link to download the PDF, and then you're going to use your iPhone, or Android phone will work as well. And you're going to you're going to scroll over, click on Avenza, and you're going to upload that map to Avenza. You're going to have 3 maps in there that you can access. The nice thing is it'll use the GPS location of your phone, and you'll have a little blue dot where you are located in the unit map, and you'll be able to navigate along your transect line in order to find, or order to perform your strip cruise. So hopefully that'll help out. And if you have any questions, hit me up this week, and we'll talk to you later.